here in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Camelback Inn, the media hotel for the Cactus Bowl between OSU and Washington. Today was the first day of media availability with both OSU and Washington to preview their matchup. And so it was a day where we learned a lot more from coaches and players about their feelings heading into the game. And for the Cowboys after today, here's three different storylines that are important to follow. First off, being Mike Gundy. It was another interesting day in the world of the Gundy press conference. As you might remember, it was less than a month ago that Gundy made headlines by not speaking much with reporters at a press conference, bristling off questions, not being very personable at all. Today we saw a 180-degree spin from that. Before Gundy even answered anything, he invited reporters, myself included, for a selfie that he took and posted on the Cowboy Football Twitter account, really starting to show more of a personable side of Gundy, something that we haven't seen in quite a while from the Cowboy coach. Really a smart PR move on his part to be a little bit more personable, connect with a younger generation when technology with selfies and Twitter, really kind of a surprising turn of events, but I think for the media who cover him, it was a nice change of pace. Another storyline after today was Washington coach Chris Peterson. It was the first time that I had the opportunity to speak with him. He was a great quote, very insightful, gave a lot of anecdotes, and obviously one of the big topics today remains that 2007 Fiesta Bowl victory over OU. He says that it's not a game that he necessarily thinks about a lot, but definitely was a defining moment in his career and kind of branded him as a coach who's willing to take risks and chances when the time is right, and he still carries that attitude today. Mike Gundy had spoke about that as well, saying that in film study of the Huskies, he found that they had more than 30 different formations on special teams in their coverage units. They like to switch things up and keep teams on their heels, and that's exactly what they've done. And then another storyline that's important to follow was about a player who was not made available for interviews today. That's Mason Rudolph, the Cowboys' freshman quarterback. He continues to be a buzz among the Cowboys, just as far as his poise and leadership is concerned. And then on the other side of the coin, Huskies coach Chris Peterson also had a lot of praise for Rudolph, saying that he doesn't look like a true freshman. He's obviously taken advantage of the practice snaps he's been given this year, and that's translated onto the field. So a lot of respect there from Washington on the young quarterback, and it should certainly be an interesting matchup as Rudolph makes his third career start, this time in a bowl game, before he's ever even played a game at home in Stillwater. So definitely a pretty wild storyline for him entering this game. So with that said, let's take a look at what the coaches had to say today, as well as a couple Cowboy football players.
We've protected better in the last two games than we did through that difficult middle of the season stretch. And Des Rowland has run the football a little better, and that's contributed to some success. We still have a long ways to go, and as I mentioned, I think one of the key areas in this game was whether we can protect and give him a chance versus a team that's been really good at rushing the quarterback.
They're similar to us, that I think that they started out really fast, and then when they got into the meat of their schedule, played a lot of really good football teams. And sometimes just depending on your roster and this thing's so cyclical, it's hard to stay, at that, whether it's the elite level of defense, special teams, offense, whatever, year in and year out. And certainly coupled with who you're playing can change things. I don't know. When I just watch them, I know the firepower that they do have. You see them execute at a high level, and you see them, move the ball with the best of them. And so that's how you prepare as an opponent. You just look at them when they're doing really, really well and say, that's what we're going to get, and that's what you're trying to stop.
After seeing some tape on Washington, what's really stood out?
That they are a pretty quick, explosive team. Their O-line likes to, create gaps for their running backs. The running backs, they're not going to be easily taken down. You can't use arms, take them down. We got to wrap them up. And their quarterback is really good. I mean, he has a decent arm, and he's quick, and he's not scared to run the ball.
Washington's secondary obviously relied on a lot of freshmen, younger players this year. Those guys are probably better now than they were 11, 12 weeks ago. I mean, it's just kind of what do you see from them and from what you've seen in film? Have you seen progress there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually one of the things that's overlooked about the defense. Everybody talks about their guys up front, but the guys in the back end have a tough job as well. You know, when they're getting put in situations where they do rely heavily on their guys up front, but the guys in the back end are, teams are trying to get the ball out of their hands quick, and so that brings a tough task to those guys in the secondary. And so their improvements from what I've seen from game 1 and 2 towards the end of the year is just, they've done a great job. Just I think their coach, probably a lot of credit to their coaches and everything. But when you got a lot of guys back there, improvement's what you want to see, and they've definitely done a great job with that.